Tell me about some of those characters.
The main character, my main guy, is a rough-cut guy. He's uneducated, a lot of problems. Zela Kata, the Gravedigger, and the Gravedigger's dream. And despite his circumstances, he has a remarkable dream that I'm not going to detail right now for you, but a remarkable dream. I think it, and despite also he has a lot of personal problems. To push that dream forward in the face of his circumstances. Zay is also interested in the fact that he is a creature of failures. There's some failures in his early life, dysfunctions in his family. And so how is it a person who is in that situation in life, given a dream, where does the dream come from? And the hope that is in that dream. And how does he, in this case he or she, push forward with that dream in the face of really serious opposition? And that is something of the human condition, coming up off the floor or out of the hole. And in this case, he is a grave digger. Part of his life is spent digging holes down in the hole and dealing with the dead. And so where does that light of the dream come from? And of course, perseverance is the key word there. And where does that come from? Well, faith is, I mentioned the people of the Amazon before, and their optimism in the face of real challenges. And that joy and that perseverance comes from faith. Yeah. I think whether or not you are interested in Brazil or what your picture of is the rainforest, the dream has a universal appeal because it has to do with the hope that we all have for our families and our communities, and that is the dream that he has.
That carries him through.
Carries him through, yeah, exactly.
In addition to Zay, the main character, who are some of the other people that we'll meet along the way?
Right. His cousin Chico, who's kind of a zany guy, a clown. One of my favorite guys that came forward in the book. The Brazilians would say he's one banana short of a bunch. He's a little nuts, but he's a faithful friend, kind of a faithful buddy throughout Zay as he pushes forward with the dream. Aunt Leona, who is the oldest living person in the Amazon. She's maybe 110, and she's a true sage. She's written as a true sage, but also real cantankerous. She can be cantankerous. Witch Alzira, who's a very unpleasant person, practices the dark arts of candomblé and macumba, and has some very unpleasant motives going forward in the book. Apart from that, Raphael, his son, a precocious 12-year-old, 14, he gets older as the story progresses. Precocious, just really full of potential, but in a frustrating situation in a village where there's no path forward for him, no way for him to develop his gifts or to realize his gifts. And that's a frustration you find in Brazil in general and in the villages particularly. They're kids and gifted in many cases, as is Raphael, but with no way forward. So those are some of the characters that come forward. Padre Chabrega is the village priest. He's caught in some crossfire. And finally, I would mention, actually the only character who is not a Brazilian is Michael O'Hannon, who is an Irishman, Irish missionary. And he's out of his element completely. He's a long, long way from Dublin. And so he's wading into some real challenges culturally, and also interesting character. Yeah.